Monster winter storms are brewing, and the pattern developing over the next 2 weeks is absolutely insane. Here's what nobody's telling you. The back-and-forth temperature swings aren't a problem. They're actually creating the perfect setup for intense winter storms. The kind that drop heavy snow in hours. The kind that people remember for years. The models are screaming this message, both European and GFS. And what they're showing for after Christmas could be historic. But first, you need to understand why this chaotic pattern is actually good news for snow lovers. The breakthrough information is at the 30-second mark. When weather patterns are stagnant and unchanging, we struggle to get strong storm systems. Everything just sits, nothing moves, nothing develops. But when there's a lot of ups and downs, everything changes. We get instability, we get storm formation, we get stronger systems. The chaos creates opportunities. And right now, the chaos is building. Let's start with what's happening today. Moderate snow system along the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Still producing snowfall as we speak. And here's the first surprise. The models trended stronger at the very last minute. Areas in Pennsylvania, west of Philadelphia, picked up 6 to 8 inches. 6 to 8 inches that weren't in the forecast 24 hours ago. This is a trend, an important trend. So far this winter, storms have been intensifying last minute. Within the final 24 hours leading up to a snow system, amounts keep looking higher and higher. Sometimes there's a shift north or south, but the bigger picture? Just the increase in amounts. This trend matters. Remember it, because it's going to continue. The game-changing revelation happens at minute 3. Stay with me. Tomorrow afternoon, Monday the 15th, brings very cold temperatures. Very cold. Southeastern Virginia could hit the upper teens tonight. That's unusual to say the least. Farther inland and farther north? Single digits. Very cold for a lot of people over the next night and day. The Northwest sees a storm system bringing mountain snow and lower elevation rainfall. Great Lakes into the Northeast get plenty of lake effect snow as these really cold temperatures continue. Tuesday brings a clipper system moving through. This is standard when we get relaxation of the trough in the east. Storm tracks move along the jetstream to the north. Standard behavior. In our previous pattern, these would slide underneath. But the jetstream is relaxing. That changes everything. Wednesday shows less activity in the east. Although it's cooler on Wednesday than Tuesday, a major storm system starts taking shape out west. For the mountainous west, very interesting development. Thursday the 18th is when things get wild. A significant low develops almost immediately. We're back into the back-and-forth pattern. And look at this pressure reading. 981 millibars. Between Minnesota and Canada. That is an extreme low-pressure center for this time of year. Really intense system for the north-central states. Plenty of snowfall happening for Canada, northern plains, and Midwest. The shocking discovery is at minute 5. Don't miss this. But snow isn't the only threat from this system. Thunderstorms and severe weather are possible across the deep south. Maybe even the Midwest. Very intense Arctic air moving into warm, humid air. That causes instability. Wintertime severe weather events do occur. We're watching for that possibility. As this progresses towards the eastern states, it brings a very intense Arctic air mass with it. 18th and 19th. Back and forth. We saw a milder push. Now Arctic air moves right back in. With the primary low up to the north, this leads to minimal snow chances in the east. Even with Arctic air moving in, most precipitation is out ahead of it. Not much snowfall unless you're in very high elevations. Even then, might just be a quick blast. That colder air lasts a couple days. Another Canadian snowfall event moves through. Colder air makes a comeback after the 20th. Then we're pretty flat with the jet stream near Christmas. Some colder air to the north, milder to the south. This is transient flow, very flat from west to east with the jet stream. The unprecedented information is at minute 7. After Christmas, things get interesting. A clipper system starts moving through the Great Lakes into the northeast, and this is crucial. This model right now points out the northeast and mid-Atlantic as a spot to watch. Maybe a further south clipper system moving through. Something to pay attention to. But it's early, take it with a grain of salt. Then we start getting upward motion with the storm track. Haven't seen this since late November. Systems moving from the southwest northward through the Midwest. Some snowfall in the Midwest and Great Lakes. Not a whole lot though. Now the GFS model shows that snowstorm ending, Colder air, warmer air, colder air. Maybe a little snowfall on the back end, but it's quick. Brief warm-up, brief cooldown. This model shows an interesting look along the east around the 20th. Lower pressure near the east coast. Perhaps some inland snowfall as colder air moves in. A time frame to watch. Doesn't look like a massive threat yet. But the ingredients are there. Storm system and Arctic air. When you have both puzzle pieces, it's worth noting. The mind-blowing revelation happens at minute 9. We get colder air around the 22nd. Warm up for the 23rd and 24th. But Christmas 25th brings a cool down lasting to the 26th. Then after Christmas, around the 29th, we get a massive Arctic air mass moving in. Very far out. Take it with a grain of salt, but we're seeing a really intense blast of Arctic air, similar to what we've seen recently. And here's the kicker. A low offshore bringing heavy snowfall to the mid-Atlantic and northeast. These specific details will change. Expected to change. But it's good to see this model showing cold air returning after Christmas. Snowfall chances with it. This aligns with long-range teleconnections, the MJO and what we're seeing in the Arctic, all pointing towards this pattern. Warmer from the 20th through Christmas. Not super warm, but warmer. Shorter-lived in nature. That ends, and we're left with colder air in the east. The critical breakthrough is at minute 11. Total precipitation on the European model is very elevated out west. Acceptable in the east, but not super elevated. Looking at anomalies, slightly below normal for most of the east. Pretty far below normal for the deep south. Pretty far above normal out west. Total snowfall on the European model shows something important. With the jet stream relaxing, most storms are moving much further north. Snowfall chances move north with them. But look at those mountain ranges out west. A whole lot of snowfall. As we see elevated precipitation amounts. The GFS model's snowfall is equally impressive for the mountainous west. There's more southern action happening at times, especially later in the model run. That eastern corridor looking interesting, but this is very far out. Good sign, but don't take away specifics. Temperature anomalies on the European model show intense, historic for some areas, Arctic air mass tonight, lasting through tomorrow. Still very cold. Even Tuesday is quite cold along the east. Milder push for the 18th and 19th before another Arctic air mass. Then brief warm-up. Then brief Arctic air mass again. Then warm-up. Arctic air in the north trying to push down the east coast just after Christmas. Then it's warmer. The game-changing update is at minute 13. GFS model agrees. Colder air, warmer air, colder air, warmer air, colder air. You get the point. The biggest takeaway is this. These back and forths are going to increase the chance of storm systems in general. Very interesting storm systems. More intense ones at that. That's what we're looking for in the upcoming pattern. Not the stagnant cold, not the boring warm stretch. The action, the volatility, the storm potential. Let me explain why this matters so much. In a stagnant pattern, energy has nowhere to go. High pressure sits. Low pressure barely moves. Storm systems weaken as they approach. But in a volatile pattern, energy transfers rapidly, temperature contrasts sharpen, storm systems intensify quickly. This is when we see rapid deepening, bombing cyclones, heavy snow rates. The shocking discovery happens at minute 15. Look at that trend from this winter, storms intensifying at the last minute. 6 to 8 inches appearing in forecasts just hours before the event. That's not forecaster error. That's rapid intensification. The pattern supports it. The ingredients are there, and it's happening again and again. Pennsylvania, west of Philadelphia. That wasn't supposed to get 6 to 8 inches. The model showed 2 to 4 just yesterday. Then boom. Last-minute intensification. 6 to 8 inches. People waking up to way more snow than expected. This is the pattern now. Expect it. Plan for it. When a winter storm is in the forecast, understand the amounts could jump significantly in the final 12 to 24 hours. For the 18th, that 981 millibar low between Minnesota and Canada is extreme. To put that in perspective, hurricanes often have pressures around 950 to 970 millibars at landfall. 981 is very strong for a winter system. That kind of pressure gradient means powerful winds, heavy snow rates, blizzard conditions possible. This isn't an ordinary winter storm. This is a beast. The unprecedented revelation is at minute 17. The severe weather threat with this system is real. Arctic air crashing into warm Gulf moisture. In summer, that's a tornado outbreak setup. In winter, it can still produce damaging winds, large hail, even isolated tornadoes. The deep south needs to pay attention. Thursday the 18th. Severe weather is possible. Not guaranteed, but possible. Have ways to get warnings. Know your safe spot. Take it seriously if warnings are issued. After the 18th and 19th bring that Arctic blast east, we get into the pattern flip. Brief warm periods, brief cold snaps. This volatility continues through Christmas. Then after Christmas, the models are hinting at something big. That massive Arctic air mass around the 29th, the low offshore, heavy snow potential for mid-Atlantic and Northeast. It's 10 days out. Details will change. Timing will shift. Snowfall amounts are uncertain. But the pattern supports it. The teleconnections point to it. The ingredients are coming together. The critical information happens at minute 19. Here's what you need to understand about the post-Christmas pattern. When both the MJO and Arctic patterns align for cold in the east, snow chances increase dramatically for major cities. The ocean temperatures are cooler than normal. Each Arctic blast cools them more. By late December, they'll be significantly below average. This is huge for coastal snow. The Canadian snowpack is massive. When Arctic air travels south over deep snow, it stays colder, maintains intensity. What would normally be cold becomes extreme cold. What would be light snow becomes moderate to heavy. Everything is setting up, not for one storm, for multiple opportunities. The chaos creates chances. Each temperature swing brings moisture. Each Arctic blast provides the cold. When they time up right, heavy snow falls. The Northeast and Mid-Atlantic need to stay alert through early January. This isn't over after Christmas. The pattern stays active. Storm chances continue. Multiple systems are possible. The final game changer is at minute 21. Let me give you the forecast timeline. Today through Monday, very cold. Single digits and teens widespread. Lake effect snow continues. Current snow system winds down but produced 6 to 8 inches in spots last minute. Remember that trend. Tuesday, Clipper system moves through. Standard northern track. Wednesday, less active in east but major storm brewing out west. Thursday the 18th, monster low develops. 981 millibars. Heavy snow for northern tier. Severe weather possible for south. Friday the 19th, Arctic blast spreads east. Very cold but minimal snow for major cities. Most precipitation ahead of the cold. Weekend of 21st and 22nd. Another quick shot of cold. 23rd and 24th, brief warm-up. Christmas Day 25th, cooldown begins. 26th, stays cool. Then, around the 29th, this is the window to watch. Massive Arctic air mass potentially moving in. Low offshore, possibly bringing heavy snow to mid-Atlantic and Northeast. 10 days out means low confidence on specifics. But high confidence the pattern supports significant winter weather. The mind-blowing discovery is at minute 23. For those planning holiday travel, pay close attention to forecasts. The 18th looks like a travel nightmare for the northern tier. Heavy snow, strong winds, poor visibility. The 29th through early January could impact return travel. If that offshore low develops, airports from Washington to Boston could see delays or cancellations. Have backup plans. Be flexible. For snow lovers, this is the pattern you've been waiting for. Not the deep freeze with no storms. Not the warm pattern with rain. The chaotic, volatile pattern that produces action. Multiple chances for snow. Quick hitting systems. Potential for surprise intensification. The ingredients for memorable winter storms. January could be incredible if this pattern holds. For those tired of winter, the warm-ups will provide breaks. 23rd and 24th look mild. After each Arctic blast, recovery comes. It's not unrelenting cold. It's back and forth, ups and downs. But those downs, those cold shots, they bring snow opportunities. And with the trend this winter of last-minute intensification, any system in the forecast could overperform. The unprecedented finding is at minute 25. What's coming in the next video will shock you. We're going deep on the post-Christmas pattern, breaking down that potential offshore low in detail. Storm track analysis, snowfall potential for specific cities, timing windows. We're also looking at the extended January pattern, because if the teleconnections verify, we could see multiple significant systems. Not just one, multiple chances for heavy snow from the Great Lakes through the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. The setup for classic nor'easters is improving. Ocean temperatures cooling. Blocking patterns developing. Arctic air readily available. All the ingredients for big coastal storms. Subscribe now so you don't miss that critical breakdown, because the next 2 weeks are just the appetizer. The main course could come in January, and based on what the models are showing, it could be a feast. This isn't hype, this is pattern recognition. The chaos is building, the volatility is increasing, and historically, that's when winter delivers its biggest punches. Stay alert, monitor forecasts closely, expect changes, embrace the uncertainty, because in this pattern, uncertainty means opportunity. And for winter weather, opportunity means snow. We'll see you in the next forecast with everything you need to know about the post-Christmas setup and the January pattern that could be absolutely blockbuster.